I'm Victor Wei. I'm the Senior Revenue Enablement Manager over at Headspace. So the gist of that is I basically help our sales and success teams sell stuff. Headspace, traditionally, a lot of people probably think of the app, get from the App Store, highly focused on meditation, mindfulness, sleep content. We merged with the company about a year and a half ago called Ginger. So our focus on go-to-market now has been not only selling meditation, mindfulness, et cetera, but also teletherapy, psychiatry, and other mental health benefits. So now our change as a company is, Headspace, one company that offers a whole range of mental health benefits, mindfulness, meditation, sleep, and therapy, and everything else as well. Every company I've worked, it's always been the same few things, which is sales says, I can't find anything, I don't know what's up to date, and I don't know what to send people. Marketing says, I make all this content, sales never uses it, I don't know what they're using, what are they doing? So it's those two main problems, and tied to it, it's just the analytics, the metrics of what's actually being used, what's up to date, all the management of all that content as well. So for us, it was those things that were the biggest problems. For us, part of it is simply having one place to take everyone. So very simple, but having one place where people go for things. The other part is just making the user interface much more friendly. So instead of, here's a file folder with 100 files, good luck, go find it. It's, oh, we have a page that, oh, I can see a preview of the image. Oh, it actually looks nice. I can click on an icon instead of trying to read this title that got cut off. So just putting everything in one place, a nice user interface that people actually want to engage with, a search that's quite robust and lets you find what you need. And then once people can find what they want, they can share it with clients in a way that's really easy to. With the pitch functionality, we get all the analytics. We can see, oh, are people actually opening the pitches? Are people actually consuming are the people who are sending the content to actually consuming it? And then internally, we can see like, oh, we thought this piece of content was going to resonate with our sales team. They're never going to use that. Oh, this piece of sales content sales loves. Let's keep making more stuff like that. So across the board, just the whole experience of finding content and sending content out has been drastically improved with Highspot. The big one is just helping folks sell within specific segments. The other part, our company, because it was a product of a merged company, probably our go-to-market motion and what we talk about has probably changed 3 times in the last year and a half. So through that whole transformation of, hey, this is how you talk about us. Well, hey, this is how you need to talk about us now. And hey, here's how you talk about us today. All those transformations that we had to go through as a business, being able to keep that content up to date, findable, and making sure people are using it. Highspot's allowed that, and that's been really critical in the success of our sales team. To me, what good in sales enablement looks like, it starts with alignment at the top. At the end of the day, as a sales enablement person, everything I say is a suggestion. I can't say, hey, you report to me, so you must do this. I can't do that. Everything I do is a suggestion. So I want to start out with sales leadership, and whatever's a priority for them or whatever's a problem for them, that's where I need to focus. Once I can get leadership buy-in, that makes things a lot easier because then they can reinforce the initiatives, or in some cases, they can just say, you must do this. The other part I'll look for is alignment with the salespeople or the client success people themselves. So I want to be cognizant of what's a priority for them, what's a pain for them, because they may identify things that leadership's not aware of. Or other times, I used to be a salesperson in previous lives. It's, they're just not going to do it. Like someone proposes an initiative and you can just say, no one's going to do this. We should do a different initiative. So for me, it's you want to align with leadership. You want to align with their problems, their goals. You also want to have enough of a pulse of the people on the front lines to make sure that they'll actually buy into it and do it as well. So if you can always start there, I think that's where a successful enablement initiative starts. And then throughout it, it's just the reinforcement of it, the rollout of it, and then as silly as it sounds, just having a simple place everyone can go back to find stuff, reinforce it. This is the place they log into and look at every time to make sure that they can find the right content, right reinforcement. So Highspot's been a very important backbone of all that as well. for Highspot training and coaching, for us, we used to have much more manual processes when it came to training and what we called certifying our sales team. So before, it was a process of, hey, schedule a meeting with a sales leader, do a presentation, and you'll get feedback. And that works when your sales org is 10 people maybe, but then eventually when you're trying to funnel all that feedback into a very small handful of people and you have 40 people they have to send through that, it becomes really clunky. It becomes sometimes borderline impossible to even get calendars aligned when people are in different time zones, things like that. And it's just a lot of time for everyone, both the salesperson and the sales leaders. So how we've used training and coaching is we've taken that process and it doesn't need to be live anymore. So all the training and all the content's in one place, watch the training, use the content, and now simply record your 10, 15-minute pitch, submit it, and then at their convenience, sales leadership can log in, they can watch it all, they can grade it, and provide feedback there. So for us, it's taken a process that was much more time-consuming, sometimes impossible to schedule, and just streamlined it a lot more. And on top of that, it's given us a lot of analytics. We can look back in it. We can say, hey, 2 months ago, how did so-and-so do on this? I don't remember. Let's go look, as opposed to just remembering anecdotally. We have a record of all this as well. With Highspot training and coaching, it makes our sales leaders much more scalable. So one of it is the knowledge that they want to send out to the sales team. It's much more scalable. It's not just, hey, schedule a meeting with this person and talk through it. Again, you can do that when your sales team's 10 people, but when it's 40 people, you can't do that. So it makes that more scalable. The other part is it gives us a record that we can go back on and look at. A lot of companies, people have a gut feel of, hey, this person's a strong performer, this person knows what they're doing, and that's reasonable to an extent. But when your sales org gets very large or your go-to-market messaging changes, maybe someone who was a really strong salesperson in the previous go-to-market message, maybe they're not that way anymore. And because we have ways to reinforce that with training and coaching, because we have ways to look back and see how people scored, how people did, it allows us to do it in an unbiased way. Whereas before, it's just like, oh yeah, I like that guy, they're pretty good. I like that gal, they're pretty good. That's not always the most objective and reasonable way to run a team. And because we have this record, because we have the recordings, because we have the written feedback, we can be a little more objective about how we evaluate people and how our sales leadership team evaluates people. The two biggest ways Highspot helped us with our focus on selling EAP, one of them is we use the play functionality within Highspot. So it allowed us to kind of put a spotlight on this. I think Highspot's very good for a couple of things. One is just a place to put all your content, but also, hey, we have a new initiative, let's put a spotlight on it. It allowed us to do that. And then because of the play functionality, it gives us really good analytics. So I can see what part of the play people are engaging with. I can see how many people are engaging with it, what percent. So because of those analytics, I can really see if people are spending time there and if people are spending time in the right places there. So for me, that's a big benefit. It's a big benefit for our leadership team as well, because it helps them know what's going on. The other part that Highspot helped us with is just kind of a framework for rolling these things out. So for my support team at Highspot, they ask very good questions, very simple questions that are very effective. So it's simply things like, what do you want them to do? Oh, that is a good question. Or we'll use the framework, which is we'll use the Highspot's no, say, show framework, and that'll really help me focus my thoughts and get people using the right things. Because without a framework like that, you're just all over the place. You're just saying, here's this, here's everything, figure it out. But with a framework like that, I can really hyper-focus on what we want the salespeople to know, what we want them to say, what we want them to show. And because of that, I think it's made our enablement programs a lot more effective. I'd say this is kind of like the gold nugget that everyone goes for. So business outcomes after implementing Highspot. For us, in terms of using metrics, we look at a few things. So one, of course, is we look at who's using what. We look at the pitches that are sent out. And those are probably our two biggest drivers, because then we can tell what initiatives are resonating, both internally and externally. The other thing that we've been trying a little bit is tying Highspot usage to our CRM. So then we could tie it to deals. So like this asset was used on a deal that was X dollars. This asset was used on a deal that's Y dollars. So I don't know if we quite cracked the nugget of like, oh, we can say like it's exactly helping us increase revenue in these exact ways. I think maybe in the future we'll be able to tie that data together better. But in the meantime, where it helps us and where it helps me in sales leadership, marketing leadership, I analyze things, where people are using things, what's resonating with the market. And then the nugget that we're trying to crack is we want to know how many dollars the assets are tied to when it comes to deals, but we're not quite there yet on figuring out that part. With Highspot in general, there's a few things I really like about Highspot. A lot of things I've already said, but one thing I really like about Highspot from a technological standpoint is the architecture behind it. So the fact that it's based on spots versus, in my opinion, clunky file folder structures. I've used other sales enablement platforms that had a much clunkier structure. So the content management, the content distribution, and just sharing the content it just took a lot more work. Whereas Highspot, for me, is one of the easiest platforms I use to manage things. I think it's because of that spot architecture. So that's one reason I'm a big fan of Highspot. Pages are easy to build. It's easy to tag things. So for me, as someone who has to administer all this, I'm a big fan of the platform. The other big differentiator I think for Highspot is I have a very strong support team at Highspot. So I've managed multiple vendors for sales tools. Other companies I've worked at, I've managed vendors like agencies, things like that. And of the dozens of vendors I've managed over the years, Highspot's definitely one of the highest quality vendors I've ever worked with. Very happy with the support that they give me. Very happy with the ideas they help me generate. And honestly, our team would not be as successful without the support of Highspot.